Today's episode of Glen's Retro Show is brought to you by DNA Dimension Designs, the best custom retro gaming decals in the game, period. Also now available, Glen's Retroware, t-shirts, jackets, mugs, carrying bags, and lots of other items. Show your support for Glen's Retro Show and wear something with style.
Hi everyone, thank you for joining me on today's edition of Glen's Retro Show. Well, you can see I'm kind of shooting from a different location. I've kind of been running out of room for a while now where my collection currently resides. So slowly I'm going to be moving it down to this area here. So I still have work to be done. I have a lot of stuff in this room that has to be cleaned out. So that's one of my plans for today. But I also wanted to show you some new pickups from MyArcade. Now, originally the MyArcade machines that were released a couple of years ago were very, very cheap, flimsy. I mean, for a couple of bucks, if you got them for like $5, $6 on clearance, the 201 and 301, I guess, were kind of okay. A few minutes of enjoyment. So this is definitely, the music's okay. I've modified those into Raspberry Pis. But MyArcade has slowly been trying to keep up the pace. Competition from the Bridge Direct Basic Fun units, which I feel are one of the better units you can get out there for the price. I mean, for 20 bucks, you get a Qbert, you have a choice of an LCD NES ROM or an old-style Coleco LCD style game. But again, for $20, they're pretty enjoyable. So Basic Fun now is kind of stepping up their game with doing NES on a chip releases. Now there have been some people complaining about that they're not the true arcade ROMs. But again, these are small little devices. You play for a few minutes, maybe put on the shelf, take out once in a while, play it, put it back on the shelf. And right now at Walmart, they're only going for $24.99, which is pretty good. Even MyArcade's website has these for $36, and I don't think they're worth that. But at $24, it's a cheetah point, especially if you enjoy the game. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I was able, thanks to Bruce Yeager, and again, if you don't know Bruce Yeager, he does some really nice work in the retro community, and he has his own little MyArcade site on Facebook. If you want to try and look it up, I'll put a link down below to it, where you can find out about releases such as the new Pac-Man, the new Galaga, and the new Dug. Now, once again, these are not the arcade ROM sets. These are basically the NES versions, but let's have a look at them. If your expectations are you're playing an NES ROM on a cute little console like this, You might be okay with it. I know I am. Let's have a look. Okay, we'll take a look now at the first of the new 3 from MyArcade, and that one's going to be Pac-Man. Now, there were actually a couple of versions of Pac-Man released on the NES, one by Atari under their subname Tengen, and another version by, I guess, Nintendo themselves. Most people, including myself, believe that the Atari version was superior, but on the little MyArcade here, this is going to be the NES version. The sounds and the quality is probably not up to par, but again, you're talking about a $24 little console here. And let's just take a look first at the box. And I will say once again, MyArcade always made nice box art, nice box designs, and this is no different. It's very eye-catching. You see this on the shelf. You can see both sides of the side art on the console through it. The quality of the cardboard is nice. It's got a nice shine to it. Very retro, very much like I would remember seeing this type of, if there was games back in the day, back in the 80s when this was in the arcade, these are the kind of artwork you would see, and I think they nailed that pretty well. And it's a really nice box. Most people throw them in the garbage. Of course I keep them. But they hold this down. There's no shrink wrap on here. They put 3 pieces of a tape on here. I use a hair dryer to heat up the tape to take it off, so there's nothing. I'm weird, I know, but I take it off nice as I can. So I want to get this little guy open here, and all of these tend to run on usually 3 AA batteries, or they also now include a micro USB jack if you want to plug it in through like a cell phone charge of some kind. Once again, we get a nice, looks like a nice little manual here, and I complained in the past that these manuals are pretty much worthless. They basically show you a couple buttons on here, and it's all different languages. So let's take a quick run through here. I have a funny feeling it's the same way. They give you, once again, the joystick and where to put the batteries, which is something you can figure out on your own regardless. And that's it. So you have this really, once again, really thick manual. You would think they would give a little history of Pac-Man or something. For something this thick, to me this is garbage. It's just completely worthless. So put that over to the side. And they do put these nice pieces of plastic in here to hold everything in nice, which is, I appreciate. Let's get the actual console out of here. Now I'm going to move this box this time out of the way because new area, don't have a lot of room yet. So here's the box, taking it out of the way. And once again we have the console itself. Now they're using a standard design. All their 6-inch units have the same basic layout. And it's not a bad layout. You know, if you put these on your shelf, plug these in, have them running in your office or home. I mean, it's nice. I mean, you can see the quality of the artwork is very nice. It's put on very well. It's not really misaligned as far as I could tell. It looks like they have someone knowing what they're doing, putting these labels on, these decals on, some on the top. The joystick here now. The other units had 2 buttons on here, and to be quite honest, I know for a fact, if you're on our Facebook forums, other users have already taken these apart, which unfortunately you have to possibly ruin your side art, because to get this back panel off, there are screws under here. And I actually purchased a couple extra from Toys R Us. They were going out of business, and I got them for like $12, $13. Those would be my hack ones. But to get these things open, you have to take these side decals off, and I don't want to do that to these original ones here. But in any case, these are still moddable. Apparently on these boards, there are up to 4 or maybe even 6 different ROMs on here. I know people want the arcade ROMs on it. I know Negan wanted arcade ROMs on it.
Sounds good.
But for the price point, this licensing, it's not bad, and it's a step in the right direction. At least these manufacturers are starting to listen and not sending out garbage. They're making attempts, and they're testing the waters, and to be honest, these are not bad. There's room for improvement, yes, but still not bad. Back to my original point, these do have potential buttons in here. Again, if you come into our Facebook groups over at the Tiny Arcade or the MyArcade fan pages, people have taken these apart, discovered they still have the pads in here. they've taken other devices apart to put in controls again, buttons and so forth. Well, we're getting way off topic here. I tend to do that and I apologize. Let's take a look at this guy. So we have Pac-Man here. The artwork is very nice. On the back, they have a external headphone jack and volume control. I found the volume has not been very, very loud in these. They're adequate, but not great. There is a spot here for 4 AA batteries. And there's also a jack here for a cell phone. So if you have a cell phone, 5-volt cell phone charger, you don't have to waste any batteries at all. And they put some nice rubber feet down on here. And this is our power button here. It looks like, you know, the coin slot. You're going to press this in, and that's going to turn on our unit. We have our reset and our start button, and the fake display that's on there right now. But you can see it looks pretty nice. But right now we're going to have to take that off. There we go. Get that satisfying peel off. And what I always do, because again, a little weird, I save it. I put it on the top here, in case I forget what the game looks like, you know. Bang. And there we go. Okay, since Glen's Retro Show is an environmentally friendly show, I got these little rechargeable batteries here. So we're going to pop these little guys in here so we can fire this guy up. And I'll say once again, the plastic on here feels pretty good. I've definitely felt a lot worse. It feels like it's pretty solid. I mean, it's got a good weight to it. It's not like hollow and really, really light feeling. So let's get these batteries in here, like so. Close out a little door, and there's actually some writing in here. Micro player, and some item numbers on here. So something that I didn't notice before. I'm going to put that back in there with a little click. And we're going to power this thing on for the first time. So we're going to put this down here. And again, this is our power button right here. It lights up. And we got our Pac-Man. So first thing we want to do here is just feel the joystick itself. And again, if you have watched my other videos, you know this already. This joystick does come out. And to be honest, whoop, it falls to the floor. The playing it like this actually is not too bad, using it as a pad, and I think it might be a little more accurate that way. I don't know, but these are very easy to lose, so I always keep it inside. I'm trying to keep it that old school way. And a lot of people have complained about this, but again, you're talking about a kid's toy. You know, it's not designed for people like us who are like die-hard fans, but it's still nice to have the option to use a control pad or the joystick. And since it's coming from an NES anyway, not a bad deal, right? So let's get some gameplay now. See if I can get the camera a little bit better here. Okay, let's get a closer shot of this here. I'm not sure how well this is coming across on camera, but the screen is very, very crisp. But the controls have always been the weak point of these. So I'm going to see if I can angle this so you guys can see it without getting, there we go, not a lot of light reflecting on it from my overhead lights. And we'll start the game. Again, I'm not sure if the volume's up all the way. Let me see if I can bring that up any more. Okay, there's maximum now. And you can see the Pac-Man color is not the right color. The ghosts are not the right color. But it's from the NES version. There's no doubt about that. But it is Pac-Man. There's definitely oop, and I died. There's the versions from the Bridge Direct, which they went originally with a black and white LCD. And then they went with a color LCD. And to be honest, both suck, in my opinion. I know what they were going for. They were kind of going for that old NES, I'm sorry, the old Coleco game systems of the day. But today, this is what we kind of want. I mean, for what they were charging, I didn't care for them much. So this is a lot more in the right direction. Now, I heard some people complain, including myself, about the controls of the joystick. But for me, this control feels very precise. Maybe I just got lucky this time. The joystick is, well, aside from there, the joystick was very good with my directions. If I went in a direction, it went fairly easily. I mean, Pac-Man's one of those games where the movement was very intuitive. It almost always went, see, there we go. I'm trying to go up. There we go. The controls are always very intuitive. It won't go up. So, I just gave it a positive on the joystick, and I can't get it to go up now. And you have to be very precise with your throws with this. It looks like my game ended, so let's start that again. And reset. We'll just reset the console. I don't know why they even put that there, but whatever. So let's try it again. The joystick goes down very easy and goes left and right very easy. But you're up and down, all your directions have to be precise 90 degrees. It has to be directly up, down, left, right. As long as you do that, it works great. But if you try and do a little bit of an angle when you're moving, it just doesn't register at all. See, right now the control is, again, working very well. As long as I'm conscious of making sure my directions are going directly up, down, left, or right, it's very precise. Whoa! Almost got nailed there. So, do I feel this is worth $24? Yeah, I do. It'd be better when it goes on sale, of course. But I wouldn't be disappointed if I spent the money on this and feel like I got a non-quality item. I think they're definitely getting better, and it's enjoyable. I mean, again, it's not the arcade, but they never claimed it to be. Well, I might be in trouble here. Oh! Just want to try and clear one board. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, toast. There we go. So that's Pac-Man in a nutshell. It's not bad at all. Again, it looks nice. The screen is crisp. Is it the arcade version? No. But it's not bad. And again, if you really wanted to get crazy with it, you can always use my videos to convert this into a Raspberry Pi, run RetroPie in here, and play the true version of Pac-Man on here. But to be honest, this is really not bad. And I take my hat off to MyArcade for at least listening to us and trying to come out with something a little bit better than they have in the past. So let's go take a look at our next console in my review today. Okay, the next one in our lineup is going to be Dig Dug. Now, a couple of my friends say they really don't like Dig Dug. I always like Dig Dug. It's a fun little game. Doesn't take a lot to play it, and strategy gets involved is pretty good, especially in the higher levels when it starts getting fast. But you can see this one, once again, the box art, very nicely done, very eye-catching. Did a really nice job with the arcade art as well. And MyArcade, on these units, the graphics may not always been arcade perfect as far as what they're supposed to look like, but the quality of them has been very, very good. And you can see here, once again, the box would definitely catch your eye if you're walking through Walmart, which right now is probably the best place to get these. They did a nice job with it. I like it. Maybe a little closer shot here of the box art for you guys. So it's very shiny. The quality of the cardboard is not the thickest, but it's definitely thick enough where it's not going to, collapse on you and dent too easy. And I'll say something else too. When I went to my Walmart to get these, I used Brickseek, thanks to, again, Bruce Yeager for pointing out the codes for it, and they said they got them in stock, and I drove and I picked them up, and there was just 2 Dig Dugs sitting on the shelf, and nothing else was out there. I did a little rummaging around, and I found this. And then I went in, of course, and I found out they had the other ones in there, and I got them. But they pack it pretty well. The cardboard box that comes in from shipping is pretty good, and they still wrap these also in plastic. So they try and take care to make sure these things do get to you guys, not dented and banged up. If they are, most likely happened at the store itself. But let's get this guy out here and take a closer look at it. Not too much more to say about the box itself. They do a very nice job with it, and I'm very happy that they take some time and money and make a decent box for people like me who keep them. Once again, just a nice little touch again. They have these little hanging tabs, but they put tape on it so it doesn't fall out on you when you open it. So I thank them again for that. Once again, a Dig Dug manual, They're worthless. Doesn't do anything for you. So let's put that aside. A little top plastic cover. And we have our console itself. So we'll get a closer look at this again. They do a nice job with the artwork. We have just one button on this one for the pump, start, reset. A nice little showing of what the game's going to look like. But they do a really nice job with this artwork, and it's very, very nice. The decals put on really well, no bubbling. You can feel where the screw holes are underneath if you press hard enough. But it'll look really nice on your desk. Everything seems to be put on really, really well. So not too much more to talk about that. We still have the joystick with the unscrews. And the same deal. We have the volume headphone jack back here. 5 volts. And our battery compartment. So we have this back here. And we'll put our batteries in and fire this little guy right up. Close her up. Like so. Turn around. Oh, we got to take this thing off once again. Let's see if this one comes off a little bit easier. There we go. Peel him off. And of course, Crazy Glen always saves it. Like so. Okay, so let's turn this little guy on. Same thing. We're going to press the button down here. Light up. And we have the NES version of Dig Dug. We start it up here. Let's go. Make sure the volume's up too. Oh, I missed them. So again, the controls are as good as you're accurate with your up and down motions. This one feels a little bit more stiff, if you will, but that's not a bad thing. It just feels more like there's more substance behind the joystick. I will say that the NES version here, definitely they seem more aggressive and how quickly they come out than the arcade did. But not too bad. The sounds aren't too bad. They're pretty accurate to the arcade. Whoa! Oh, trapped. Well. Yeah, you gotta run for it now, buddy, but I got you. Oh. Oh, he got away. So, this is definitely one I would definitely say out of the ones I have is definitely the top of the list. It just plays nice, it looks nice, it sounds nice. So, Dig Dug. Now, this will also be coming out in a tiny arcade form, but I don't think it's going to be coming out till like September. But this is very, very nice. I definitely give this one a thumbs up. Very enjoyable. I can sit down and play this one for a while. So let's go take a look at our third and final one that probably most people want to know about. Now for the one that most people want to know about, Galaga. I was always a fan of Galaxian. It's still my favorite, but I definitely enjoy Galaga as well. It's different gameplay. They improved on it. It's a fun game, but for me it was always Galaxian. But once again, you can see here, if you walked into a Walmart and you saw this sitting or hanging on a shelf, it would definitely catch your eye. The box art is very glossy. You can see the console itself on both sides. Very, very nice. Some information on the back. Very basic information. But again, and price tag, you see something like this hanging there, $24.99, and it works, you're probably going to grab it. So let's get inside this box and take a look at some Galaga. Worthless manual. Toss that to the side. There we go. Now, the side art being black and glossy, you can kind of make out now. I'm not sure if it comes across on the camera, but you can see there's a screw hole here, and actually I do see a bubble on this one, and the screw hole's down here in a bubble. So on the dark one, you can kind of make out more than you probably would see on the lighter colors, but it's positioned properly. The decals look really, really nice as far as how they're positioned. They're not like off tilter or messed up I've seen on other machines. And you can see screw hole screws. You can see here exactly where all the screw holes are, but they still look really, really nice. Most people would not even notice that. Just crazy people like me would see that. And again, you can see we have one fire button, the reset, start, our joystick with the removable to make it just a gamepad, the fake screen overlay, and on the back, of course, we have our louder, softer volume controls, headphone jack. You can always plug this into speakers if you wanted to crank out 8-bit Nintendo sound, I suppose. Power jack, and our battery compartments. Let's throw some batteries in this guy and fire it up. Okay, let's fire this little guy up. Once again, I've got to take up my screen overlay. Off it goes, and to its new home. Like that. Okay, now we can fire this little guy up, hit our button, get our indicator lights, and we have some Galaga. So let's fire this thing up and play it. Make sure I actually see the volumes up all the way. I think that's going to be the whole way. Let's try it out. The sound sounds a little like it's over amplified for it, but it still sounds, I guess, okay. Yeah, this one I'm definitely going to say the sound is not great at all. It sounds almost like they're putting too much amplitude into the speaker, and the speaker is like struggling with the volume. Wow, that's a disappointment. That is a real disappointment. Visually it looks really nice, but sound sounds absolutely horrid on this. sound's okay there, and then it gets really... Wow, MyArcade, I don't know what you did here. This is would probably have been your most loved console you made. The sound is absolutely horrible. That's a big disappointment. And also on this one, the label's not on very well. So that's the first time I've seen that. So press that label down there. That's, I guess, better. Didn't fit that too well. In any case, it doesn't sound very good. I'm going to reset this and start it again. The sound does not sound very good. I can't tell how much of a disappointment that is. I don't know how, if it's a problem with this particular machine, or if it's by design. But the sound of Galaga on here is absolutely horrible. I'm going to put it up against maybe the AtGames Sega Genesis as far as how it does its audio. It's bad. It's actually annoyingly bad. Even if you never played this game before, or it's the first time you're playing it, I think it's something you would notice. Wow. Well, I mean, if you're looking forward to this one, I guess you can still get it, but I'm really disappointed with the audio quality. And this one, actually, the decal's not on very well on the bezel. But that's got nothing to do with the machine. That's just how this one was put together, I suppose. But the sound on this is bad. I'm not happy with that at all. It really just took away from the gameplay for me. So what are my final thoughts of these new microplayers from MyArcade? Well, to be honest, it's a mixed bag this time. The Pac-Man and the Dig Dug were fine. Actually, I really enjoyed the Dig Dug a lot. The Pac-Man was pretty good too. The biggest disappointment, though, was the Galaga. First of all, the build quality on this one was the first time I saw where the decals and all the ones I have were not put on right. But that's a minor thing. The bigger gripe is the almost AtGames quality audio coming out of this. I mean, it really, to be honest, ruined the entire experience for me. I'm going to pick up another one and see, maybe I had a bad speaker or a bad amp on this one. But if I find out on the next one it does the same thing, this is a huge, huge disappointment. It probably would have been one of their highest sellers, and it may still be. But people, I don't think, will be happy with it. It's that bad in my opinion. The sound totally ruined the experience for me. Now, again, for $24.95, they'll all be fine on your shelf, but for me personally, this guy here, out of all the ones that I've gotten so far, is actually not happy with it. Dig Dug, I am happy with it, and Pac-Man also was enjoyable. But I can't say enough how much this one here really disappointed me. But I do thank everyone again for watching. Please, if you like this video, it's the first time seeing my channel, please like, share, subscribe, please. And I have many other videos down below, including how you can convert these into the Raspberry Pi units and other things as well. But I do appreciate you taking your time to watch my video today. And remember, game on.
at the Tiny Arcade fan page. Remember, don't admire people too much. They'll disappoint you.
Sit, Blue Blue, sit. Good dog.